You have 6 fucking million unread messages. 3 motifs have crystallised upon the prongs of King Krul's crown of creative expression: phones, pylons, and the moon. Archie Marshall, the mid-20s South Londoner behind the monarchical moniker, inspects loneliness, specifically that which is felt by organisms that are becoming increasingly dependent on rapidly evolving devices of communication and connectivity. His investigation is not only at its peak of prominence on his new record, Man Alive, it is more relevant than ever for the 2020 generation of listeners. The King Krul motif trinity functions as a conduit through which Marshall challenges this 21st century specific brand of loneliness, and it dominates Man Alive, particularly across its 4 era-defining singles and their accompanying videos. When the joiner turned up unannounced, I felt like Lenny when his wall collapses and he's eating cereal in his pants and he's like, "Please don't tell anyone how I live." Nice the local in Derbyshire puts up sign asking customers not to wear face masks in store. Stacey Solomon warned she could get arrested for innocent mistake on holiday. Tesco apologises for top with unacceptable words about Black Mermaid. Greek military put on high alert as tensions with Turkey rise. Are you okay? That's brilliant news. I am, yes. Sorry for being a bit raj this morning. Yes, a big relief. Good, don't worry. I love you. I love you too. Please could you pick up some naan bread on the way home? Fucking hell, it's too fucking hot. How the fuck is it so hot? It should not be this fucking hot. So first I'm in my old comprehensive school at the top site where all the science labs and that were, which of course is gone now, flattened for luxury housing. Anyway, there's like 2 spiral staircases that go up 4 floors of classrooms with a sort of bridge first floor that overlooks the main reception. I'm on the bridge floor and I've got to quickly pick the left staircase or the right. I'm running. All the kids are chasing and literally killing each other. There's one lad getting impaled with a bit of pipe and his blood is everywhere. 2 lasses just fell down through the void over the banister of a higher floor to the reception bottom. Kids are getting their heads smashed into walls. And I am shitting myself. I hide in one of the 4th floor labs, and the lass I lost my virginity to is in there, and she's possessed or something evil, and she's feeling me bollocks, and it's absolutely terrifying, mate. I was aiming to get to the top of the school, and I never got there before. Rick and Morty fans want show axed as creators' baby rape video resurfaces. England A-level downgrades hit pupils from disadvantaged areas hardest. Archbishop of Florida Church selling bleach miracle cure arrested with son. US Defense Department creates task force to investigate UFOs. I can feel the concentrated point of a collection of spider knuckles sprouting under the nape of me neck, and I daren't tell anyone. Sorry for the late reply, mate. The microwave was blaring and the washing machine was raging and the extractor fan was roaring and the cats were shouting and the potatoes were boiling over and the steam was streaming down the walls and the windows, and I just fucking burst into tears and cried like a bairn for about 15 decades. Lol. Alexa, is Macy Gray's 1999 album On How Life Is the greatest achievement of the 20th century? 15.5 million photos taken, 14.2 million haikus composed, 139.4 million have collapsed in fear. Someone's made a silly of themselves with angry hands and a clamped mouth. 3 months prior to Man Alive's February release, Marshall dropped a short film titled Hey World via YouTube. Filmed and directed by Charlotte Patmore, it served as a preview for tracks that featured on the then upcoming album. Opening with the sound of a phone ringing and the automated message, "The person you are calling is on another line," over stammering images of pylons, the film follows Marshall as he wanders through the barren fields and sands of northwest England. Featuring stripped-back renditions of Perfecto Miserable, Alone Omen 3, Don't Let the Dragon Drag On, and Energy Fleets, one section of the film moves its focus from Marshall and his guitar into the sky above, and the moon is seen shifting through its varying forms as the lunar cycle progresses. Swordmaster rates 10 sword fights from movies and TV. Babysitter tries to seduce husband. What happens next will shock you. Hoarder rips people off, then a stranger teaches him a lesson. Keep doing what you need to do to survive, missus. Don't give away pieces of yourself when you need them most. Treat yourself, indulge in every selfish fancy, bathe in treasures until you're blinded by the mirror. Remember you're a queen, and don't stop being one of the few cool cats in a hot dog world. Strange is good, and slow is fine. I see spiders instead of spots in front of me eyes when I'm tired. Alien foot penis. Love how you've been dormant for months and the first thing you come back with is alien foot penis. I feel bad for the doctor who can't hug his brother but has to feel me bollocks. The lyrical focus of Cellular, the opening track of Man Alive, is yet another chapter in Marshall's fixation on phones. It laments, "We're losing signal, we've lost connection," and exemplifies our easy access to global news. There's a massacre across the ocean. I can see it in the palm of my hands. The video writhes with the frantic, disturbing imagery of animator Jamie Wolfe, and in both contrast and harmony with the lyrics, it concentrates on the image of the pylon. Pulsating electrical towers and two individuals chasing one another across the cables are depicted. At one point, one of them severs a cable that connects the pylons by biting it, provoking the pursuer into a manic episode. We are, as a 2020 species, simultaneously hyper-connected and fatally afraid of being left alone. I've wrapped myself in a web of dirty clothes and duvets. I'm in the field that was out the back of the primary school on the other side of the village from the comp, and it's this proper long thing. I once lost a gold-based Paul Scholes power pod out there during a summer lunchtime, right? Went out there after school looking for it for hours. Gave up me search. 3 weeks later, I find poor Paul's bonce after the caretaker had been houring with the mower. There's a long hedge on the left side that separates the field from a main road, which, like in the Dales, is maybe a car or two every 20 minutes, which ends with a steep bank going into some hills. I'm running out the school back gate and there's a few cars parked wild across the field, and I dive down behind one because there's like a load of tall knobheads in medieval armour running across it in my direction, and they're like chucking spears at us, and I have to keep sprinting between these cars and take cover from these weapons that are being lobbed at us at disgusting speeds, whistling over me neck. Anyway, getting to the stile at the bottom, check your change for this special 50p, which could be worth £200. Bakery worker sacked after 44 years for allowing elderly customers without cards to pay in cash. DWP benefit payment dates are changing for some people next week. Are you affected? Mate, honestly, it's got to the point that wearing a nice hat genuinely makes me feel safer. Strange is good and slow is fine. I can't stop checking the NHS website to check if I'm dying. The video for Alone Omen 3, directed by Jocelyn Oncotil, overflows with footage of people on their phones. The track opens with a ringing tone, and as the vocals begin, Marshall looks up to a widening shot from amongst a tightly packed crowd of people, many of whom have their phones to their ears, seemingly waiting at a busy city crossing. The crowd disperses and leaves Marshall standing on his own, revealing they're actually on the stony shore of the Thames. In the video's most surreal moment, Marshall turns his focus from the camera to a man with grotesquely giant ears, who mimes the line, "Don't forget you're not alone." The displaced urbanites with absurd ears are the lost and isolated of a digital world, too occupied by their phones to recognise their strange environment, pictured in stammering portraits as Marshall proclaims, "You're not alone," the track's mantra, repeatedly. Sainsbury's shopper told to pull t-shirt down over her shorts after complaint. Take frozen curry, buy a blackout tent. 16 expert tips for the perfect camping trip. Adele shows off her 7-stone weight loss as she supports pal Beyonce's visual album Black is King. See, this is why I get really fucking pissed off when I think about how that doctor said she didn't think I was a spider. When it got to the point where you had to take me to A&E because I literally hid in the bathroom when I woke up convinced that someone was hiding under our bed. It's like, I know I'm screaming, breaking things, punching myself, throttling door frames. Well, like, I'm too embarrassed to tell her that. How could I tell her that when I'm too embarrassed to tell me mates or me mother? But I know as well, like, she doesn't have the full story because I literally haven't given it to her. So then I just end up being annoyed at myself. If you Google easy ways to die, Wikipedia will tell you about Mount Mihara in Japan. It says, in 1933, Kyoko Matsumoto completed suicide by jumping into the Mihara crater. A trend of copycat suicides followed as 944 people jumped into the same crater over the following year. Over 1,200 people attempted suicide in 2 years before a barrier was erected. The original barrier was replaced with a higher fence topped with barbed wire after another 619 people jumped in 1936. I've been imagining some poor bastard, folded in half, guts chewed to bits, suspended 12 feet in the air at the summit of a volcano. Like, what the fuck is easy about this? The video for Don't Let the Dragon Drag On, directed by Marshall himself, spends the majority of its time zoomed in on Marshall's face as he voices his empathy for those who feel loneliness. I hang my head for those who ain't been held too close in times of pain. Eventually, the view shifts into the night sky above, and as clouds pass to reveal the moon, the camera sinks back down to Marshall's face, now slowly zooming out to reveal that he is tied to a stake upon a burning pyre. As the track fades upon the repetition of "You think they ever have these days," he is engulfed by the flames. I go from thinking I might actually have superpowers to being genuinely scared for my life, with no logical reason for either, on a daily basis. And it's been like this for a long time, but now, wow, it's fucking intense, mate, lol. I can't fucking sleep. 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 I just watched Rufus do a massive poo while pissed and stoned. And honestly, it's literally one of the biggest laughs I've had in 63 years. I can see in the distance this short line of bikes coming down the bank, and as I run up the road towards them, away from the knights in the field of cars, the lass at the front of the line gets her tyre stuck in what looked like mud, but ends up being a bog when she gans head our handlebars into it. Me and all her cycle pals flock about her to pull her out, and she comes up holding this massive log, and she's manic about dragging it out the bog. So up it comes, and her husband, in matching cycle gear, is holding her, and she's crying at him to open the log, and so he has this crowbar and hammer, right, and with them he splits the log in half, and she crawls over and chucks herself over the log, screaming and crying at her husband's sodden corpse that was shriveled inside. The living one who split the log is gone. Sometimes dreams like these fucking stalk me, but being awake still scares me more than the nightmares. I'm trapped in a burning building, and Thundercat, Gus Dapperton, Mac DeMarco, Reggie Snow, Dylan Cartledge, Archie Marshall, Idols, Little Sims, Blood Orange, Nubia Garcia, Dirty Art Club, Young Fathers, and Men I Trust burst in, booting down walls and swinging axes and hoses about, saving me fucking life, laughing my ass off. Terror and Power is gothic horror poised for 21st century revival. Sowing doubt, people around the world receive mystery seed parcels. BBC presenter says music helped her to live after brain hemorrhage. Met Office forecast, UK braced for torrential rain and strong winds. Thunderstorm warning. The moon continues to haunt Marshall's visual stories. The video for Comet Face, directed by C.C. Wade and released nearly 6 months after Man Alive dropped, opens on the moon, shining down on someone fleeing for their life. This is a classic werewolf horror story in which Marshall himself turns out to be the murderous beast, and his victims, once dead, stalk him in the shadows, pointing at him and wearing unsettling zombie expressions. Eventually, the Pint Men of London hunt him down and shoot him in the face, and the video ends with Marshall asleep on the couch, and apparently it's all been a nightmare. But there's a fucking zombie watching him sleep.